Welcome to the bright side of aging. My name is Ike Engelbaum. I'm a pharmacist and the publisher of the American Senior Gazette, and I also do a radio show with the same theme. The theme of our program is that age is a matter of the mind. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. In fact, it's been said there is no such thing as old age. There is instead chronologically blessed. My mission is to interview interesting people who have advice for us on how to use the power of our mind and body to live healthier, happier, and for a long, long time. In fact, it's been said, as far as birthdays are concerned, it pays to have a lot of them, because the more of them that you have, the longer that you live. I am really excited about having a real entrepreneur, financial type person, David Blatt. David Blatt specializes in the mortgage field, as well as these commercials that you see all the time on reverse mortgages. It's a bit confusing. And David Blatt has won awards for his financial dealings, and he's an all-around nice guy. David's approach is to listen, evaluate, and explain. Welcome, David.
Well, thank you, Ike. Thank you so much for the privilege of being here.
Well, I am flattered that you call it a privilege. I am really impressed with your credentials. You and I have talked before on the radio show, and the experience you have is terrific. And I've learned that the reason a lot of people are confused about reverse mortgages is because there are different companies, and there's a lot of myths and facts that we hopefully, before the half hour is over, will unravel. So specifically, number one myth is if one spouse passes, the other can lose their home. Is that correct?
No, definitely not. There's never a change of ownership with the property value. Always stays with the family or the estate. Mm-hmm. That's a big, big misconception.
So once you get into the reverse mortgage, does the loaner take control of your home?
Well, it's the bank. I mean, these are all federally insured banks. And just to let you know, the reverse mortgage that we use is federally insured by HUD, which is FHA. So it's government insured. And they're all reputable banks, and no one wants a home. I mean, again, the reverse mortgage is strictly to help the borrower, the homeowner, improve their retirement, improve their lifestyle. That's simply what it does.
Right. Now, the age qualification is?
It's for older folks, which obviously I'm older than.
I'm chronologically blessed.
Yeah, I mean, I happen to be older, but it's for 62 and over is the minimum. And really the criteria is the age. And the older you are, by the way, you qualify for more money.
Oh, really?
Because your life expectancy.
There's another reason to keep on getting older.
Exactly. And then the other criteria would be, of course, the value of your home, the appraisal. And then thirdly, how much equity you have in your home.
Now, if someone is interested as to whether they qualify or not, is there an initial charge of some sort for assessment? How does that work?
No, I'm not like an attorney. I mean, more so like real estate people. I happen to be a real estate.
What's that title again, attorney?
Attorneys are very good when you need one. And they're entitled to it. But I don't personally ever charge a client. All consultations are free. And we never charge anything until we actually approve the loan. And then there is a small appraisal fee. In many cases, we can waive the appraisal cost at closing.
Uh-huh. And as far as since you brought up attorney, I'm going to bring up jurisdiction. As far as your jurisdiction, can you do reverse mortgages all over Michigan, or how does that work?
Yes, yeah. I'm federally licensed and state licensed, so everywhere in the state of Michigan. My company that I'm with, K Financial in West Bloomfield, we're licensed in Florida, Chicago, and California, and there might be a few other states. But my business primarily is all the state of Michigan.
Now, remind me, as I've heard situations that you could possibly be forced out of your home. Is that possible?
The only way you can be forced out of your home, it's really on a foreclosure basis, and it's not the bank that's foreclosing. It would be the county, because the borrower does not pay their property taxes. So even on a forward mortgage, if you go back 10 years during the Great Recession, it was the counties that were foreclosing also, not just the banks. So on a reverse mortgage, all you have to do, because the payments are optional, like you don't have to make a payment, and most people don't. So, but you have to take care of your property taxes, your insurance, homeowner insurance, and of course the upkeep on your home. So
insurance and taxes is your obligation. That there's no way around that. What about if it's a nice home and parents pass on? Can the children buy the home, or how would that work?
Well, the process is just like, again, a regular forward mortgage. God forbid someone passes away, the last spouse, it goes to their will, their estate, and whatever their will or estate, if it is inherited by their children, the children have an option. They must refinance, though, if they want to keep the home. If there's a lot of equity in the home, or if there's equity and the kids want to just sell the home and put it up for sale, and they would retain the equity after they pay off the bank.
Now, if one spouse passes on, can the remaining spouse maintain the home?
Sure, most definitely. Again, just like a forward mortgage, the only requirements is that the homeowner lives in the house at least 6 months out of the year. You can have a second home in a warmer climate, but the house has to be your primary residence. So if someone passes away, of course, it stays with the other spouse. Again, there's never a change on ownership on a reverse mortgage. It always stays with the borrowers or the family.
Now, as far as the taking off, like the snowbirds, how does that work? I mean, can they take 6 months in a block, or do they have to?
There is no restriction, and no one's watching. So again, there's an affidavit that comes in once a year from the bank, and they're just asking you, do you still live in the house? Is it still your primary residence? And that's all. I mean, it's getting common, or people are living longer. One of the spouses might have to go to assisted living facility because of dementia, whatever, which is, unfortunately, that happens. And of course, the other spouse is still living in the house, which is fine.
Every time I hear that no one's watching, I can't help but be reminded about the story and the days when you had kids running to school, and after school there was treats for the kids. So the story goes about this school where there's two baskets, one that has apples in it, and the other one has got cookies. And there's a sign above each one, and above the apples is take one, God is watching. On the one with the cookies, it says, take as many as you want, the God is watching the apples. So it depends on what you're doing.
Yeah,
but
story.
As far as the whole situation with the money, how is that divvied out? Can you take a lump sum, or can it be done in?
Yeah, there's many options. Most people initially will take out a reverse mortgage because they want to stop their mortgage payment. They want to free up that, let's say they're making a $500 a month mortgage payment. We will pay off that mortgage, and right away they're going to save $500 to improve their lifestyle. If they want just a line of credit, they can have a line of credit. They could have a combination of, they want money just to remodel new windows, new doors, or whatever. Again, you could do that. Initially what happens is when we close a loan, the borrowers could take 60% of the equity that they're approved for, and the remaining 40% in 12 months. So the theory is that the government doesn't want the seniors possibly to take all the money and possibly lose the money for whatever reason. But the money is very flexible, and by the way, there's no prepayment penalty on the mortgage. So you inherit more money, or you win the lottery and they want to pay off the mortgage, they can pay it down, pay it off anytime they want to. They can redraw it, and just like on a HELOC, you can go up and down on the line of credit. So again, very flexible.
I was just thinking, in view of the current situation where you hear children moving back to their parents' home, so the money from the reverse mortgage can be used for remodeling and making accommodations for the children. Is that?
Yes, most definitely. Again, the money is the borrower's money. They can do whatever they want with it. They have a bucket list, they want to go on a trip. They can take the money, again, and do whatever they want with it. If they need to, let's say, remodel their house because of a handicap situation, it's perfect. And today, many seniors are looking at a reverse mortgage to pay insurance like long-term care insurance because that's become very expensive.
Speaking of long-term care insurance, if one of the spouses goes into a long-term care facility, is the whole deal aborted? What happens?
No. Again, the reverse mortgage is never aborted. It strictly continues all the time until the last spouse either passes away or sells the house.
Now, there are quite a few commercials, as you know, about reverse mortgages, and they use some superstar types to promote it. Is there a difference in the fees involved with reverse mortgages, depending on which company you work with?
Well, there's standard fees, but every mortgage company has the flexibility to waive some fees or to charge less. You know, our company, Reverse Mortgages of Michigan with K Financial, I feel have one of the lowest fees available in Michigan ourselves. We try to be very fair with the client.
In the medical field, you always hear about getting a second opinion. So walk me through that. If I want a second opinion, I've already heard one offer. Mm-hmm. Is there a penalty? Is it because you checked or go back and forth?
No, there isn't. I mean, I don't get too many that double check, but it's possible. Again, it's just it's a good idea. I mean, I don't have a problem with anyone checking. I want to make sure that they're comfortable with me, working with me, and if they have any question about our fees, I always tell them, go ahead and check with, like you said, there's a famous Hollywood actor that actually, he does a very nice job explaining what a reverse mortgage really is. But the difference is I talk to my clients myself firsthand. I meet with them, where typically a large company like one of my competitors, I won't mention the name, they're going to use a call center, and you don't know who you're going to talk to. So in my case, I enjoy talking to the client, but I encourage any client to double check.
Well, you're personable. That's why I'm having you on the show.
Right, I appreciate it. Right.
And you're so good. I want to continue our talk, but first we'll take a brief break, and we'll be right back with Mr. David Blatt from J Financial.
Thank you.
We own a Habitat home.
I love working on my Habitat home.
Soy dueño de una casa de Habitat.
My neighbor is a Habitat homeowner.
Being a Habitat homeowner has changed our lives.
My mortgage payment for Habitat is less than what I paid for rent.
Habitat for Humanity of Oakland County currently has homes available with mortgage payments lower than most rent payments. If you or someone you know needs decent and affordable housing, call 248-338-1843 or visit our website at habitatoakland.org.
And welcome back. And here is David again. How are you, David?
Great. Thank you again for being here.
We're talking reverse mortgages, and actually, I think the name itself explains a lot. I hear all these fancy, dancy financial terms all the time, and you wonder what the heck the jargon is. In fact, I'm reminded Einstein's wife was once asked if she understood her husband's theories, and she said, well, let me put it this way. I could understand the words, but I could never understand the sentences. So with reverse mortgages, there's a lot to cover. And we talked about the fact that there's different offers made in terms of a reverse mortgage. And you said you are open to being checked, so to speak, as a second opinion. Is that correct?
Oh, sure. And I encourage that on all mortgages. It's no different than buying a car, or like you said, for medical reason. Is always, the client should be comfortable and make sure they feel they're getting the proper charge. I mean, the one thing that we didn't bring up was there is always a 2% funding fee, an insurance fee on reverse mortgages. That 2% goes to the government to ensure that the banks always have the money to make the payments on the reverse, and it always ensures the homeowner and the family that they never have to make a payment or lose money. So it's mortgages, reverse mortgage are a non-recourse loan, which is a big thing. They can never be held accountable for a lack of equity.
In your opinion, if there is such a thing, what is the average or ideal situation for someone to consider a reverse mortgage?
Well, I mean, there's a number of ideas, I guess, would be a reverse mortgage. If someone is having difficulty just enjoying their retirement and they need money at 62, I would suggest they take a look at it right away and improve their lifestyle. On the other hand, we have clients that we receive referrals, I do, from financial planners, that someone really doesn't need a reverse mortgage at 62 because they have their retirement funds, they're comfortable. But one thing about a reverse mortgage that most people don't know, that you can close on a reverse mortgage just like a HELOC from the bank, never take the money until you need it. And that line of credit, Ike, will grow every year.
Oh, wow.
Like right now, it's growing in the range of 3%. So let's say they take it out at 62, at 70, they still don't need it. It could be 80 years old, they might say, you know what, we need to start taking this money. And that money, at 3%, growing, really becomes a large amount of money. And they could take it at that time.
It's sort of like a savings plan.
Exactly. I mean, you can't take you always have to pay it back. It's obviously not free. But one thing that's important in reverse mortgages that we're very careful about is there's mandatory counseling. Everyone must go to a counselor, and there's many of them in the area. And sometimes they charge, sometimes they don't. But it's a third-party counseling center. They're trained on reverse mortgages. And it explains so a third party can, explain the myths and the facts about a reverse mortgage. So you're not necessarily just talking to anyone that might be just interested in making money on you, and you don't really need a reverse mortgage, or it's not good for you. So it's a very good idea, and that's mandatory. Before we do an application, everyone must go to counseling, and it's usually done on the telephone. It takes about 45 minutes.
So can this be done, the whole process be done by phone? People that are concerned with the current situation face-to-face, can a lot of it be done by phone?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually set up for Zooming. So you'd be surprised, most of the seniors, older folks are familiar with Zoom because they're doing it with their kids. A lot of their children have moved away. So yeah, and they're very computer savvy, and everything is by email or scanning. We can do it without talking or meeting with the client.
Well, you remind me that for every disaster, as has been said, there's an opportunity. And now in hearing this, the children that do want to help their aging parents and making the right decision, they could be all on the Zoom call if the kids are out of state and be in on the meetings that you're having. Is that correct?
Oh, for sure. I actually recommend that on the counseling call, that their children, if they're involved financially, or if they have an advisor, a CPA, if they want to be on the call, it's a very good idea to do that, to get another opinion.
Now, we talked about second opinions, and I'm just wondering, is there a situation where a person gets involved with it and then goes ahead and suddenly they realize, hey, why did I do that? Can they back out, so to speak? Is there such a...
Yeah, I mean, typically a reverse mortgage takes about 60 days. So once we do the appraisal is the only out-of-pocket cost. But if they want to back out at any time before we close, that's not a problem. I don't think I've ever had anyone do that. On the other hand, reverse mortgage is regulated by the government, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and HUD, and there's a 3-day rescission period on all mortgages. So like we're sitting here at the title company, we're closing the loan. They have 3 days to decide that they want to keep the loan. If they don't do anything, the loan closes. But otherwise, it gives them an opportunity if they want to give the documents to an attorney or their friend to look it over. They have 3 business days to make a decision.
Now, what about that appraisal factor? If does it pay just for peace of mind to get two opinions as to the value on the appraisal? Can one lender put a higher or lower appraisal of that house? Is that doable? Does that happen?
Well, not anymore. That used to happen, 10 years ago. But now all the appraisers are controlled by the banks. I don't order the appraisal as a lender or broker. It's ordered by the particular lenders. And they go to companies called AMC, and they randomly will pick an appraiser to do the mortgage. And these, on the HECM loans, the home equity conversion mortgages, which is 90% of our mortgages, they're all FHA government appraisers. So, it's possible that the appraisal might not be what the homeowner thinks it is. A lot of people think their house is worth $300,000 and might come in at $250,000. They can contest it, and if they have comparable sales, we can give it to the appraiser to look at. But we are hands off on the appraisal process.
So, are there situations because of the condition of the home that you can't really give them a reverse mortgage?
There are situations that they need work on their homes. Let's say they have a leak in their basement or the roof is leaking. If they have sufficient equity in the home, we can escrow the 1.5 times the fee to repair that problem. And that way we know that a contractor is going to come out there, replace that roof, and then they show us, we send the appraiser back out there again to inspect it, make sure the roof is completed. Then we will release the funds to the homeowner and to the builder. So we make sure it's possible.
Now, how much equity does someone have to have in their home so that they can get a reverse mortgage?
Typically, I like to say 50%. But again, as I talked about, as you get older, we can lend more money. So typically 70% on an older individual would qualify. A few months ago, I did a mortgage for a 92-year-old lady in Detroit, and very healthy, physically and mentally. And we gave her about 70% equity.
I'm just curious, in 92, I'm not from the Internal Revenue Service, but why would you? Because you're in need of money, is that why?
Yeah, she needed money to live on, improve her retirement.
So really, the bottom line, as they say, is that if you've got a home, it's like your own bank that you can go in.
I think today people have to look at their home with a reverse mortgage as another asset of savings. You have your retirement accounts, your savings, maybe real estate, but you have your home, which also now with a reverse mortgage is another asset that you can, take to live on or enjoy the money any way you want to.
So what about the whole aspect of the interest rate? And the reverse mortgage, is there a big difference between the conventional mortgage interest rate and reverse mortgage rate?
Actually, right now it's very similar. We're in the 3 to 4% range, and it's an adjustable interest rate. It changes once a year. And
so the current mortgage situation, the rates are terrific. In fact, I've heard that if you're paying more than like 4%, currently you can save thousands of dollars by the benefiting from the interest rate. Is that part of what K Financial does as well?
Yes, yeah. I mean, we do everything. We're a full-service mortgage company, K Financial. So we do all the conventional, the jumbos, the government, FHA, VA loans. We do them all. Like you said, if you could save at least 1 point, 4 down to 3%, depends how old you are, you're going to save thousands of dollars. And also, the interest on a mortgage is deductible, where credit cards are not. It'll give you an opportunity, if you have equity, to pay off all the credit cards. So K Financial. So my entity with K Financial is the Reverse Mortgages of Michigan. So we're a separate DBA. And also, if anyone's interested, davidblattmortgage.com is an information website about reverse mortgages.
So they can be informed. So I'll give you a tagline that you might want to use, and that is David Blatt, with one call, does it all. How's that?
Perfect. We do our best.
Let's do it. It's been a delight to have you on.
Yeah, thank you.
And I always like to leave this segment of the show with one of my favorite philosophy bits. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. And that's why we call it the present. Please enjoy your present by living life with the bright side of aging.